They thought it was a path to enlightenment. It was a prison without walls. The year was 2004. In the secretive world of Scientology's international headquarters, a new, chilling form of discipline was emerging. Not a spiritual retreat, as some might imagine, but a place of intense psychological pressure and physical confinement, designed to break and remold the wills of its most dedicated members. This wasn't some isolated incident. It was an organized program. Accounts from former high-ranking Scientologists describe a system where executives, some with decades of service, were exiled to a specific building, their movements restricted, their identities stripped away. They called it the Hole. Imagine a world where your every action, every thought is scrutinized, where confession is demanded and dissent is met with relentless interrogation. This wasn't merely a disciplinary measure. It was a psychological battlefield, fought within the confines of a single, unassuming building. The origins of the Hole are intertwined with the leadership of David Miscavige, who ascended to power after L. Ron Hubbard's death. Miscavige, a figure known for his authoritarian style, sought to consolidate his control, and the Hole became a tool for those deemed disloyal or underperforming. Former members describe a situation where around 80 to 100 high-ranking Sea Org executives were confined to a double-wide trailer, later moved to the more permanent CSD building at Gold Base, Scientology's secretive compound near Hemet, California. Inside, conditions were far from the luxurious life one might expect for top executives. They slept on the floor, endured meager meals, and were subjected to hours of intense group confessions, often lasting deep into the night, sometimes for days on end. One former member, Mike Rinder, a high-ranking executive for decades, described being confined to the Hole for several years. He speaks of the relentless pressure to confess crimes against Miscavige and Scientology, often under duress. The psychological toll was immense. Individuals were forced to denounce each other, to confess to fabricated transgressions, and to internalize the idea that they were the source of all problems, not the system itself. This created an atmosphere of paranoia and distrust. Another prominent figure, Mark Rathbun, once a top enforcer for Miscavige, also spent time in the Hole. His accounts corroborate the stories of forced confessions, physical altercations, and the constant fear of further punishment. The infamous ethics technology of Scientology, designed to purify and correct, was weaponized within the Hole. It became a tool not for spiritual betterment, but for ideological conformity, a crucible where loyalty was forged through suffering. The Wall of Fire is a term used within Scientology to describe an individual's resistance to spiritual progress. In the Hole, this metaphorical wall became terrifyingly real, as individuals faced an unyielding barrier to their freedom and dignity. Meals, when they came, were often scraps, leftovers, or food considered undesirable. This wasn't about nutrition, it was about control, about reducing individuals to a state of dependency and submission, a deliberate act of dehumanization. Sleep was a luxury, often interrupted by late-night meetings or demands for further confessions. The constant sleep deprivation exacerbated the psychological torment, making resistance almost impossible. The goal, according to former members, was to break down their sense of self, to instill absolute obedience to Miscavige. It was a complete re-education, a process of systematic subjugation masquerading as spiritual correction. Many describe witnessing physical altercations, not just arguments, but actual violence. Accounts detail Miscavige allegedly striking executives and others being forced to participate in physical punishments, all within the confines of the Hole. The fear of being sent to the Hole, or remaining trapped within it, acted as a powerful deterrent against questioning authority. It created a culture of silence, where even the highest-ranking members dared not speak out. Leaving the Hole was not a matter of simply walking out. It required a complete capitulation, a full acceptance of their crimes, and a renewed pledge of loyalty. Even then, the reintegration process was fraught with suspicion. For those who eventually escaped Scientology and spoke out, the memories of the Hole remained vivid and traumatic. Their testimonies paint a grim picture of a system that leveraged extreme psychological pressure to maintain control. These accounts, initially dismissed by Scientology as false, have been corroborated by multiple former high-ranking members across various media investigations, creating a consistent and disturbing narrative. Scientology, for its part, has consistently denied the existence of the Hole as described. claiming these are mischaracterizations of internal ethics programs or standard disciplinary measures within a religious order. But the sheer volume and consistency of the testimonies from those who experienced it paint a different picture. It suggests a system designed to isolate, degrade, and re-educate, rather than simply correct. The whole stands as a stark example of the potential for psychological coercion within closed, high-demand groups. It reveals how even highly intelligent, dedicated individuals can be subjected to extreme conditions under the guise of spiritual advancement. The stories from inside the hole are a chilling reminder that the pursuit of enlightenment can sometimes lead to profound darkness, leaving deep scars on those who journeyed beyond the wall of fire. It's a story that compels us to question, to scrutinize, and to remain vigilant against the abuses of power, no matter where they may hide. Next, we'll delve into the secret history of Scientology's most enduring controversies.